my sweet dear. You didn't just outsmart them, you orchestrated a move so razor-sharp. It carved silence in the room. So clever, so precise, so unthinkably clean. It had to be criminal. That's the kind of genius that makes people stop, mid-sentence, exchange glances, and quietly whisper your name into Google like they're reporting a cyber crime. And why? Because what you did wasn't just unexpected. It disrupted their entire blueprint of how power should behave. You didn't take the usual path. You didn't bark loud. You didn't seek permission or praise. You moved like a shadow with a vendetta. The moment it clicked that you played their own game better than them. The suspicion started, not because you broke the rules, no, because you rewrote them in your favor. And now, they're scratching their heads, wondering how someone like you, so calm, so controlled, so underestimated, just flipped the entire script without leaving fingerprints. They had it all figured out, or so they believed. The hierarchy, the manipulation, the silent rules of who bows and who commands. You were supposed to follow the narrative, smile in defeat, settle into the background like wallpaper in someone else's palace. But you didn't just refuse the role. You rewrote the damn screenplay. And when you walked in wearing that unbothered look with chaos tucked neatly behind your eyes, they knew this wasn't just confidence. It was danger, disguised as genius. And danger, when it's calm, makes the loudest noise. They always say, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. That's the curse of brilliance. Do something too perfect, and people won't admire it. They'll question it. They'll fear it. They'll poke holes in it. Not because it's flawed, but because they are. Because people like you. People who rise without begging, who win without announcing, who create storms with surgical silence, make the mediocre feel exposed. You made them feel naked, vulnerable, replaceable. So they did what the weak always do when they're rattled by excellence. They turned suspicion into a weapon. One moment you're invisible, the next you're the subject of hush-hush meetings, paranoid glances, and digital witch hunts. Who is this person? Where did they come from? Did you see what they just pulled off? And just like that, your name becomes a search term. Not because you're famous, but because you're frightening. Because your silence isn't emptiness, it's strategy. Your detachment isn't coldness, it's focus. You didn't walk in to impress. You walked in to restructure. You didn't crave their attention, but you got it. In the worst way possible, for them. You planted an idea so sharp it pierced their confidence, and now they're bleeding doubt. You didn't shout. You didn't threaten. You executed. And it was so smooth, so brilliantly quiet, that it felt illegal. They wanted to believe it was a trick, that no one could possibly dismantle their control without breaking something. But that's the terrifying beauty of it. You didn't break anything. You simply disobeyed gravity. You rose when everything about your story said you should have stayed grounded. And when someone rises against all odds without asking for help or mercy, the system starts glitching. The sheep start whispering. The wolves start watching. And the handlers, they start Googling. What they don't understand, they label unnatural. What they can't control, they call a threat. And that's what you've become, a threat wrapped in elegance, a chaos they can't contain, a riddle they can't solve. They expected rebellion to look loud, messy, emotional. But you were none of that. You were surgical, calculated, inevitable. You didn't just challenge the game. You became the flaw in their system, the virus in their comfort, the shadow they can't predict. Now every move you make is watched, every word dissected, not because they want to understand you, but because they want to neutralize you. But how do you neutralize someone who never aimed to fight in the first place? You weren't at war. You were simply returning energy, playing a long game they didn't even notice was happening. That's what scares them the most. You were playing chess in a room full of checkers, and they thought your silence was weakness. They thought your politeness was passivity. They thought your stillness meant surrender. Oh, if only they knew. Still water doesn't just run deep, it drowns things. They whispered behind your back, spread rumors, passed around. They tried to peel your story apart, looking for some flaw to justify their discomfort. But they found nothing. No drama, no cracks, just results. Clean, effective, unstoppable. And that's when they realized they weren't dealing with an accident. They were dealing with intent. And nothing is more terrifying than someone with a calm mind and a chaotic motive. You didn't rise to prove a point. You rose because you were meant to. Because you saw the game for what it was. A playground for cowards in crowns. And you decided to turn it into a graveyard of egos. Every time they spoke your name, it came with a warning. Not the loud, obvious kind. The quiet one. The kind that slips through teeth like poison. Be careful with that one. Something's off. Not wrong. Not bad. Just off. Because you don't move like them. You don't need noise to create waves. You don't need applause to validate the storm you bring. And you damn sure don't need permission to become a threat. That's the part that burns them. The fact that you're not looking for a stage. You are the event. They underestimated you not because you were weak, but because you were patient. Because you were silent for so long, they thought you were sleeping. And then you woke up. And when you woke, you didn't speak. You acted. You set traps with a smile. You turned setbacks into setups. You made them believe they were still in control, right up until the moment they realized their whole script was written by you. By then, it was too late. By the time they figured it out, you weren't on the board anymore. You were above it, pulling strings they didn't even know existed. And that's why they're searching now. That's why your name is echoing in inboxes, group chats, and boardrooms. Not because they're curious, but because they're worried. They're looking for evidence, a weakness, a thread they can pull. But you didn't leave any, because you don't operate in the light. You move in silence. You rise in the shadows, and your power, it doesn't come from approval. It comes from clarity, from precision, from that deep inner knowing that you don't need to shout when you're already being felt. They thought you were clever, but clever was never the plan. You were inevitable, and now they're praying it was just a one-time thing, that your rise was a fluke, that maybe they imagined the whole storm, but deep down they know it wasn't imagination. It was warning. It was arrival. It was the prologue to a story they won't survive. And as they panic and press keys and search your name, like it'll reveal an answer to soothe their fear, they don't realize one simple truth. You've only just begun. And while they scroll through search results, hoping to unearth your secrets, what they fail to understand is you are the ghost in the algorithm. You've blurred your presence so cleanly into the code of their world that they can't tell if they're reading about you or being rewritten by you. Their fingers tremble on keyboards while they look for your past. But what they're really searching for is a warning about their future. And by the time they finally grasp that, they'll already be living inside the consequence you designed. See, people like you don't just rise. They shift the ground. You weren't aiming for recognition. You were setting off tremors, while they were busy playing politics, pleasing people, performing their little rituals of fake smiles and thin applause, you were studying, quietly, precisely, watching them parade around in their self-made crowns, oblivious to the guillotine you were sharpening behind your calm eyes. They thought your silence meant you didn't notice. They thought your restraint meant you didn't know. But every smirk they exchanged, you clocked it. Every backhanded compliment, you stored it. Every fake handshake, you filed it. Not out of hurt, but out of strategy. Because revenge, real revenge, isn't a slap. It's not a scream. It's a structure. It's something you architect, brick by calculated brick, until it becomes a fortress they can't escape. And you were building in silence, while they laughed, while they schemed, while they underestimated, until one day they looked around and the exits were gone. That's the kind of clever they can't comprehend, the kind that doesn't fight back. It consumes, quietly, slowly, permanently. Now they're scrambling, not out of guilt, but out of insecurity. Because for the first time they're not sure who the smartest person in the room is. And that's the true punishment for people like them. Not being shouted at, not being exposed, but being outdone. Subtly, elegantly, permanently. You didn't need to burn the castle. You just rearranged the locks and waited. And now, there, trapped inside their own illusion, panic echoing in their heads, searching for exits in walls that no longer exist. They're calling meetings now, whispering your name with concern disguised as curiosity. How did they pull it off? Why didn't we see it coming? Are they working alone? But that's the problem. They still think this is about tactics, about some plan you scribbled on a napkin. What they don't understand is, this isn't strategy, this is instinct. The kind of instinct that's born when you've been ignored too long, mocked too loud, and silenced too often. You didn't rise to prove you're better. You rose because the cage broke. And what came out was something they weren't prepared for. Because they mistook your calm for peace. They mistook your distance for disinterest. They mistook your intelligence for coincidence. But now they're starting to realize you were never absent. You were observing. You weren't behind. You were building. And now that the structure's complete, now that the trap has clicked shut, they're finally starting to feel the grip. And the worst part? There's no noise, no announcement, just outcomes, shifts, reversals. Suddenly you're where they were, and they're asking themselves how the hell that happened without a single warning. But there were plenty of warnings. They just weren't listening. The way you spoke with your eyes, the way you never tried to outshine, because you knew your moment would come when they dimmed. The way you held back, not out of fear, but because you understood. Power means knowing when to strike. You let them exhaust themselves, expose themselves, overestimate themselves. You made them believe they were in control, even while you were planting seeds beneath every step they took. And now, they're choking on vines they never saw growing. They always thought the most dangerous person in the rooms is the loudest, the boldest, the one with the biggest bark. But you proved something much darker. The most dangerous person is the one who doesn't need the room, the one who watches from the edge, smiling without smiling, storing every word like ammunition, until the time is right to flip the room on its head. And when that moment comes, you don't yell, you whisper, and the entire room goes silent. They're starting to treat you differently now, with fake respect, with twitchy smiles, with offers and handshakes that stink of desperation, but it's too late for all that. Because the version of you they ignored is gone. And the version that stands here now isn't looking for friendship, isn't looking for forgiveness, isn't looking for applause. You're not here to fit in. You're here to remind them there's a cost to underestimating the quiet one, a price for dismissing the thinker, a consequence for mocking the strategist in the corner. You didn't just rise, you reversed gravity. You made the ceiling their floor, you flipped the food chain, and now the predators are checking over their shoulders. That's the beauty of what you've done. It's not vengeance, it's justice disguised as evolution. You outgrew their power games. You matured past their shallow tricks. And now that you've stepped into your design, they can feel it. The shift in temperature when you enter. The discomfort in their own skin when you speak. The realization that they can no longer predict or contain you. And here's the thing that twists the knife even deeper. They still don't know what you're fully capable of. They're assuming what you did was your best move. That this was the climax, the final trick. But you know better. This wasn't the storm. This was the warning wind, the soft rumble before the sky breaks. You haven't even opened your full arsenal yet. You've been generous, merciful. You gave them the chance to adapt, to evolve, to recognize your value before you had to make a point. But they spat on that mercy. They mocked it. And now, the next phase begins. Not louder, not messier, just deeper. Now you don't just win, you reshape. You don't just compete, you erase. You don't just expose the flaws, you redesign the whole system to make sure those flaws never walk again. Because that's what this journey has become. Not revenge, but replacement. You're not reacting anymore. You're reconstructing. And the empire you're building now doesn't need their approval. It doesn't need their blueprint. It doesn't even need their presence. Let them search. Let them theorize. Let them lose sleep over what you'll do next. The fear isn't in what you've done. It's in what they can't predict. You've become the uncertainty in their future. The shadow they can't decode. The variable they can't remove. Every attempt to box you in now only proves how limited they are. Every whisper of your name is a confession. They know they lost. So walk in silence, walk in elegance, but don't ever walk back. The path you've carved is forward only. Leave their crumbling thrones behind. Let them choke on suspicion. Let them drown in paranoia. Because the more they try to analyze you, the more they expose their own incompetence. And the more they whisper your name, the more powerful that name becomes. Not because you screamed it, but because they did, out of fear, out of awe, out of the unbearable realization that their world is now haunted by you. And the best part, you're still not done. Because this wasn't about some momentary revenge or a petty display of dominance. No, this was the prologue. You didn't just want to flip their script. You came to rewrite the entire narrative, burn the old plot lines, and etch your name into the bones of every room they thought they controlled. You're not here to impress. You're not here to explain. You're here to dismantle, quietly, elegantly, like an architect with a scalpel instead of a hammer. And every move you made wasn't random. It was engineered to look like divine coincidence. That's the art they never learned. Not just what you do, but when you do it. They think they've seen your full hand, that the smoke has cleared, that the storm has passed. But what they're standing in isn't peace. It's the eye. The still, deceptive center of a hurricane they helped summon. And soon they'll hear it. That low rumble returning, not from the sky, but from below. Because the real brilliance of what you've done is not in what you exposed, it's in what you've yet to reveal. You've left just enough mystery for their paranoia to blossom into obsession, and in that obsession, they'll rot from the inside, chasing shadows that stretch longer than they can measure. You didn't need to destroy them. You just needed to remove your silence. That was the real trigger. Because when someone like you, who observes, who calculates, who lets others swing and miss while you study patterns, when you finally act, it's surgical, it's final. It's the kind of move that doesn't just win the game. It flips the whole board, resets the rules, and makes everyone question whether they were ever even playing. And now, they're stumbling, not from any wound you inflicted, but from the sudden clarity of who you truly are. That's the difference between them and you. They played to be seen. You moved to shift reality. They wanted applause. You built a legacy in shadows. They built castles on gossip, ego, and assumptions. You built underground tunnels through logic, silence, and foresight. And now they can't sleep without wondering what door you'll walk through next, what role you'll play, what system you'll redesign from the inside. Because here's the terrifying truth for them. You've become unplaceable. You're no longer in the room. They are in your labyrinth. They'll never admit it, but you can feel it in the way they speak to you now. That slight hesitation, that microsecond delay before they respond, that flicker in their eyes when your name is mentioned. It's not respect. It's not admiration. It's fear wearing a polite mask, because deep down, they know. They tried to box you in, and now they live in the shadow of that broken box. They tried to dismiss you, and now they kneel in the echo of your name. They tried to define you, and now they are defined by their failure to do so. And yet here's the true elegance. You don't need revenge anymore. You've outgrown it. You've become something more dangerous, indifferent. You don't burn bridges. You redesign the whole map, so those bridges no longer lead anywhere. You don't tear down their walls. You raise the ceiling of your world so high, their walls become irrelevant. And in that altitude, there's air they can't breathe. They weren't built for it. They weren't meant to rise, only to hover, barely surviving in their comfort zones. You evolved in discomfort. You became the storm they never prepared for. And now, you've stopped explaining. You've stopped warning. You've stopped justifying your brilliance to people who never had the range to comprehend it. Let them call it suspicious. Let them whisper theories and type your name into their desperate little search bars, because every time they try to decode you, they amplify your myth. They turn you from a threat into a legend. And the most dangerous thing about legends, they're immune to logic. They spread, they evolve, they haunt. Let them investigate. Let them replay your moves, dissect your history, analyze your choices like a cold case file. The truth is, they're not even studying you anymore. They're studying the absence of themselves in your story. And that realization, that's what truly eats them alive. You didn't just rise, you deleted their relevance.